Okay, so what do we need for supplies? So for this one, I found these little, I guess they're little frames from Hobby Lobby, and I've also seen those at a couple other dollar stores. I think I saw them at, what was it, Dollar General the other day, but they were colored frames, so they're not like this rustic wood, but it would still work. Like you could still paint it and get it to do what you want. But these ones were from Hobby Lobby, and they're $3.99, but everything is 40% off, so I did not pay $3.99 for these little guys. And then we're going to leave one of them with the little top thing on here because that's going to be our top hanger. And then these these other two are going to go on the bottom, and I already actually pulled out, it's just a little hook. So you just unscrew it and just set that aside. You don't need that. You could, I don't know, save it for something else. I'm a saver. And then the other thing I got from Hobby Lobby are these little pumpkin stakes. Now, if you can't find these pumpkin stakes, because I know my Hobby Lobby, I was just there yesterday and they are already out of them, probably because I bought most of them, but maybe yours is in the stock still. They had some with these really cool patterns, and then they also had some with like buffalo plaid and like a couple other things. Or you could even look just in their woodcuts or any craft store, and you can probably find little woodcut pumpkins like this. They don't have to be these particular ones. So for this project, what I did was I removed the backs of these, so I'm not using them as a wood stake. I am actually going to be painting these and putting them in the box. So as I was going through the store, I was just kind of looking through the different things that they had, and I don't know about you, but for me, when I am in my creative mode, I can see different things and I put them together in my brain, and then I'm like, ooh, that might work, that might work. So usually I start by walking around the store without a basket, and then I have to go back and get a basket. Can anyone else relate to that? I did that like 3 times yesterday. I was at a couple different dollar stores and at Hobby Lobby, and I'm like, I need a basket. So anyways, I happen to notice that these little pumpkins fit perfectly in here. See how that fits perfect? So when you're getting your little boxes and your pumpkins, just make sure that they're going to fit. And you could do something different than pumpkins, honestly, if you wanted to. You could do a lot of things with this. You could even do something other than fall if you're ready for that. So let me just get this other one set. I was trying to get most of this ready before we started, so we wouldn't have to do all this extra stuff, because this is a boring part, just taking the hardware. And I'm actually going to keep these. I have another plan for these little things because they're nice, sturdy little rods. So I would recommend, I'm kind of a pack rat when it comes to craft supplies and things, and I tend not to throw things away. So I definitely keep things like this because, hey, you can use it for something else. All right, so I got those. Let's save my little screws there. And then the other thing we're going to do, now this is optional as well. So I did it on this one. You can take a little bit of masking tape and put it around the inside because we're going to paint this. So if you want to do a little bit of masking tape, that'll just help. You can move a little bit faster with your painting. And if you don't have a steady hand or you don't trust your hand to get up to those edges without getting the edge of the wood all messy, then doing a little bit of masking tape is always a good idea. So I'm just going to add my masking tape to these two. All right, so these are all ready to go. So first things first, I'm going to set these aside and we're going to paint the pumpkins first because I want these to dry, and I'm missing a pumpkin. Did I leave it in? Oh, it's upside down. Don't mind me, it's Friday. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. So I've got the 3 pumpkins here, and I am using metallic paints. I've been going a little crazy with these 3 colors. If you watched my live earlier in the week, I did the green, the orange, and the blue glasses to turn them into candle holders. So that's like I'm doing a lot of those colors this year, but I love these colors. So these are just from the craft store craft section. They're like these two are deco art. This is folk art. I don't really care brand wise. I just wanted the colors. So I wanted the metallic. This is a metallic turquoise shimmer. We have festive green and we have copper. So you could do these colors, you could do any colors that you want. I am going to use a flat brush. This one would actually, this project would actually be really cute. Like if you're into the neutral colors, like the buffalo plaid and stuff like that, or whites, like you could leave them white if you wanted to. You could do something really fun and, you know, kind of do a neutral motif, but I love the color. So I'm just going to go in with my flat brush. Let me zoom in just a little bit so you can see better. And I'm just going to sweep it all over here. Now, when I did my other one, I actually did 2 coats of this. I don't know that I'll do 2 coats with you today because I just kind of want to give you the gist of how to do the project. So it takes a little bit longer because you're going to put an extra coat on everything, but I'll just go through and just show you everything. And that way, when you make it, just a reminder, you may need more than 1 coat of paint on these. This copper covers pretty well. The one that doesn't really cover all that well is the green. So I know this from experience. So I'm just going to brush this across here. And then I did not bother doing the edges of these because you don't see the edges. They are glued to the little boxes and you won't see the edges. So you don't need to worry about paint in the edges. If you get paint on the edges, like a little bit of over painting, that's fine too. It's not going to show up. So that's kind of nice. And then I did... Like once you get this on here, I take a little piece of paper towel. If you work quickly, you can take a little piece of paper towel or a Q-tip and just kind of wipe off the tops of this pattern part. Now it's not going to get all the paint off, but what it'll do is it'll just kind of remove some of that, and then we're going to go over that later with white paint. So it just kind of picks up some of that extra paint on there. It'll dry faster and the white will take better if we get that up there. So that's the copper one here. I'll put it up here so you can see it. And then I'll do green next. Doesn't matter which order you do these in. So this is the festive green. Let me just rinse my brush. We don't want copper and green to mix because if you mix them, then they might look kind of ugly. So let me just make sure your brush is nice and dry too. A wet brush never helps with these kinds of projects. Sometimes it's good for other things. I'm just going to sweep this over. We'll do the green. All right, there's our green. And now for my favorite color. I have the turquoise or teal or whatever color you want to call it. It is turquoise shimmer. And we're going to use the same colors and we're going to paint the insides of these. Now you could have a lot of fun and, you know, pick up or do any color combination in here. So if you don't like the colors I'm using, pick colors you like. This one would be really cute, like if you're thinking ahead for like Christmas or something like that. You could totally do a whole Christmas motif. You could put like maybe a little ornament or something inside of here. That would be super cute. Lots and lots of ideas. So don't stop with just the pumpkin idea. Next time you go to the craft store or the dollar store, meander about and put your creative thinking cap on and think about, ooh, what could I do here? Love to paint. I was so excited last night. Now I gotta remember here. So I put orange on the top of the other one. I think I'm going to be consistent here, and I'm going to do the copper with my one that I saved, the little thing. So if you're doing 2 doors like I do, keep that in mind. If you're just doing 1 door, and this doesn't even have to be a door hanger. This would be cute as a wall hanging. Yeah, I don't know. What suggestions do you have? Where do you think you'd want to hang this? You could even do it sideways, like if you wanted to, you know, just have it as like a shelf sitter and just arrange your pumpkins a little different, you know, instead of up and down, to make it into a little shelf sitter. So there's just lots of different things. All right, let me set that one aside, and then we're going to do this one in the green. Okay, so there's our first coat on these. So I'm just going to let those dry. While those are drying, this should already be done. So what did I do first? I think I did my copper first. Yeah. So I'm going to start with a copper. I'm just using some white acrylic paint. I made this earlier, and I have this really pretty pearl white. It's another metallic. This is a folk art one. But it's very thin. So what I found when I made my first one is it was better to do a quick, like almost like an undercoat of the white paint on these little ridges. So let's see here. I think what I'll do, I'm going to do this copper one all the way through, just so you can see it. And I'm going to recommend, like, I would do one more coat on the copper. I'm not going to do it now just for time reasons, but when you do yours, definitely I recommend doing 2 coats of the bottom color. And then after those dry, come in, I'm using a very small flat brush here, and I'm using white acrylic paint and just covering over these little designs that are sticking up. They're kind of popping off of the background here. So I think you can see the ridges. So those are there. Okay, so I just did the pearly. You can see the difference here. You see how dull this one looks with just the plain white? Now I could do an extra layer of white, but it's matte. This is nice and shiny. It's shiny. We like shiny things. So that's why I did the pearl on top of there. It just looks shimmery and pretty. Okay, and then our little boxes here, like I said, we're going to do one more coat. These are still kind of wet, and if I paint these again while they're wet, it's going to start pulling up the paint. So I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to leave those be for just a moment here. And then I'm just going to show you how to put this together. So what I do for this is I'm going to use a little bit of wood glue. You could use other kinds of glue too. Tacky glue might work okay. Hot glue, you could probably use hot glue. Hot glue's not my favorite. Sometimes it just doesn't. I hate those little strings that it gets on there all the time. So I'm going to take wood glue if I can get it out of here. So we're just going to put it on the bottom of these. And then you'll sandwich them together. Now, like I said, if you want to do it like I did mine. So I did mine. Here, I'm going to back this up. Oh, you can see your comments there on my phone. I did mine vertical like this. But if you want to switch it up and do something a little different, you can totally do something different. You could do side by side and make, like, instead of a wall hanging or a door hanger, you can just set it up as like a little shelf sitter. You could always also, like, kind of offset them. So if you wanted something a little bit different, like something like this, where you're offsetting them, you could do kind of a pile of them, like maybe put, I'll slide that over so you can see one in the middle and one like that. So, that's kind of up to you, what you think you want to do with yours. But for mine, I'm doing one just like this because I'm going to hang these on my front door, and I have a double door in the front. So that is what I'm going for. So I'm just going to sandwich those together. If you have a little clamp, you could always clamp them together. Don't forget, you also have to remove the tape, of course. You're not going to leave the tape on there. Let me add a little bit of glue to this one. And then this one I'm going to stick to the bottom here. And then all of my pieces, so when you stack your pieces, you're not going to put green on green because that's not going to show up. We want contrast here. Okay, so now that the pumpkins are all dry and I have, I did the pearl on here, did a little touch up, I'm taking some tacky glue and I am going to glue these down in the center of each box. So I'm going to do the green and then I'm going to do blue in the middle so we can get some nice contrast. And then I'm going to do the copper on the bottom. Okay, so now what I want to do, I have my lace here that I've cut to size. So I'm going to be putting this lace in between and on the tops and bottoms of each section. I'm just double checking my thing here. So let's do the in-betweens first. I'm just going to use tacky glue to put this down. And it's easy, if I can get the glue out, it's easier to get the glue across there first and then put the lace on top of it than trying to put the glue on the lace. And let me keep this upside down so that it cooperates for me when I want to get the glue out. And on the other one, I positioned the lace so that this part was kind of sticking up. And then I did the other opposite. So I did this one facing down just because it had a little bit of a different pattern. And for the long pieces, let me trim this just a little bit. I'm going to use my sewing scissors with this because it's fabricy. You know why? I love this lace because my grandmother actually used to crochet lace. I actually have pillowcases with the lace that she crocheted on it. And it's just kind of it's a lost art. I don't know. Does anyone else know how to crochet lace? She taught my mom how to do it, but I don't know if my mom still knows how to. She hasn't really, if she does, she hasn't done anything with it in a long, long time. But I do crochet. I've just never crocheted lace, but I'm sure it's probably very similar. One of these days I might actually try and learn how. So once you have this, you can keep the tie. Let me cut that little tag off here. And in order to put the bow on here, you're probably actually going to have to extend this hanger a little bit taller. Otherwise, the bow is going to cover. So let me pull the bow out just so you can see. And so, oh, I forgot. Don't forget, you know, I'm just going to show you with the other one because this one's, I got to finish putting it together. But, you know, if you put it down right here, it's going to cover up your whole pumpkin. So we don't want that. So what you're going to do is you're going to want it, let me back this up so you can actually see. There we go. You're going to want it up higher so that you're not covering your pumpkins. And then in order to do that, like see the, this is a bit short. So you're going to have to do an extra piece of jute string just to lengthen that. And that way when you hang it on the door or the wall, if you're hanging it, then you'll have room for the bow without covering up any of your pumpkins. Okay, so I think I got both of these done. Let's see how we did. I'll put them side by side. They look looking pretty good. Well, let me switch here. I'll put my little bow here so you can kind of see that too. We got the bow. I really hope you enjoy the tutorial, and I hope that you try this out or make something similar, make it your own, use it as an idea. Thanks for stopping by, and this is Rose from The Painted Toad reminding you to be creative, be artistic, and get connected at The Painted Toad. See you later.